We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's President Draupadi Murmu to embark on a state visit to Mauritius today to attend the National Day celebrations of Mauritius on 12th March as chief guest. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in Sashakt Nari Viksit Bharat program in New Delhi to witness demonstration of agricultural drones by Namo Drone Didis will hand over drones to 1,000 Namo Drone Didis. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says at least 13,000 terrorists were among Palestinians killed in the Gaza Strip, vows to defy Biden's red line and press ahead on the southern border of the Gaza Strip. '96th Academy Awards underway at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Robert Downey Jr. wins Best Supporting Oscar for Oppenheimer. The Boy and a Heron wins Best Animated Feature Film Oscar. And moving on, India's vibrant development partnership with Mauritius constitutes a key pillar of the bilateral relationship. India's President Murmu will embark on a visit to Mauritius to attend the National Day celebrations of Mauritius on 12th March as chief guest. She will also hold talks with top leadership of the country.
India enjoys close and long-standing relations with Mauritius. To further strengthen that bond, India's President Draupadi Murmu will attend the National Day celebrations of Mauritius on 12th March as the chief guest. A contingent of the Indian Navy will take part in the celebrations along with two ships of the Indian Navy's 1st Training Squadron, INS Tir and CGS Sarthi. During her visit to Mauritius from 11th to 13th March, President will hold bilateral meetings with President of Mauritius, Prithviraj Singh Rupun, and Prime Minister Pravin Kumar Jugnauth. In addition, President Murmu will meet the Speaker of the Mauritius National Assembly, the Chief Justice of the Mauritian Supreme Court, and important Mauritian leaders. President Murmu and Prime Minister Jugnauth will jointly inaugurate 14 India-assisted projects. President Murmu will also witness exchange of important bilateral agreements that seek to further strengthen the robust bilateral institutional collaboration and capacity-building cooperation between the two countries. People in Mauritius are thankful for India's assistance. President Murmu will pay homage to Mauritian leaders at the Pamplemousses Botanical Garden and undertake visits to historical and cultural sites, including the Apravasi Ghat, the Intercontinental Slavery Museum and the Sacred Ganga Talao, with inputs from Girish Nishana in Mauritius for DD India.
Also, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in Sashakt Nari Viksit Bharat program and witness agricultural drone demonstrations conducted by Namo Drone Didis at Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi on Monday. Namo Drone Didis from 11 different locations nationwide will also participate in the drone demonstrations simultaneously. During the program, Prime Minister will also hand over drones to 1,000 Namo Drone Didis. Prime Minister will felicitate Lakhpati Didis who have achieved success with the support of Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihoods Mission, and supporting and motivating other self-help group members for their upliftment. Also, with an aim to boost socio-economic growth, enhance job opportunities and promote trade and commerce, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to visit Haryana, will inaugurate and lay foundation stone of 112 national highway projects spread across the country worth about 1 lakh crore rupees. Prime Minister will also inaugurate the Haryana section of the landmark Dwarka Expressway. 39 other projects worth 32,700 crore rupees in different states across the country are also to be inaugurated. These projects will significantly contribute towards the growth of the national highway network. And India and European Free Trade Association EFTA signed a trade and economic partnership agreement. EFTA bloc countries are Iceland, Liechtenstein, Switzerland and Norway. The deal inked with increased stock of foreign direct investments in India across a range of sectors including pharmaceuticals, machinery and manufacturing. Prime Minister Modi called it a watershed moment.
India and European Free Trade Association signed the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with an aim to increase the stock of foreign direct investments. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, who signed the agreement, said that the agreement marks the dawn of a new era of prosperity and mutual growth. Under this agreement, EFTA countries will invest $100 billion in India, creating job opportunities in different sectors.
It's an ambitious agreement. It integrates economies and enhances flow of trade and investments. It also focuses on sustainable growth, integrates India with many new global value chains, and promises huge business opportunities and employment opportunities.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the signing of the agreement between India and European Free Trade Association EFTA bloc countries. These countries are Iceland, Liechtenstein, Switzerland and Norway. As a watershed moment in the bilateral relationship between India and EFTA bloc countries, PM Modi said India will extend all possible support to facilitate industry and business to achieve the committed targets. EFTA is an important regional group with several growing opportunities for enhancing international trade in goods and services. Representatives attending this meet from EFTA bloc hailed the signing of agreement as historic.
This step proves that we have taken our ambition and commitment to conclude a treaty seriously, and that we have constantly expanded and deepened our friendship.
I strongly believe that this agreement, which is so much more than an agreement, it is a partnership, will bring a lot of opportunities for all our countries.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Iceland's Foreign Minister Bjarni Benediktsson on the sidelines of the India-EFTA meeting. Both of them discussed new areas of collaboration, investment and trade. EFTA has 29 free trade agreements with 40 partner countries including Canada, China, Mexico and Korea. With inputs from Jessica Taneja, Shagnik Chakraborty, DD India.
An India-EFTA trade partnership is set to boost investment opportunities for business leaders of Norway.
In a historic first, India and EFTA nations signed a free trade agreement that will look at $100 billion worth investment in the next 15 years, aiming to create over 1 million jobs. We have with us business leaders from Norway who've flown down to India. Joining us is Tima Ayer Utna. She's the Senior Vice President for Asia for Statkraft. Tell us about the renewable energy sector. What is the potential that you see within this FTA when it comes to the renewable energy sector?
I think for the energy sector, this is about the opportunity to work much closer together between Norway and India on all fronts. And I know that our minister has highlighted particular areas where we have in-depth competence in Norway, in offshore wind, hydrogen, and these could be key sectors.
You're the head of Kongsberg, the country head for Kongsberg, and you were talking about the investments we're seeing in the maritime domain, which has become important in the recent days. Tell us about the key areas of focus in that domain.
We provide technology to drive sustainability within the maritime sector, and we have a strong maritime cluster in Norway that I see could benefit from this framework, and to have more predictability in business and have more competitiveness into the Indian market. So I think also the Amrit Call Maritime Vision 2047 that Modi launched in October, I think that also will give a lot of opportunities for the maritime sector.
We have Deepak Swai, he's the chairman of the Norwegian Business Association in India also. We were talking about the importance of technological innovation and exchanges. We heard from the ministers as well, the trade minister from Norway also mentioned. Tell us the key focus at this point when it comes to tech.
So Norway is one of the leading technology focused country in the world. So the idea is to bring those technologies to India and then contribute for both manufacturing and services sector in India, creating opportunity for job as well as economic growth. So that's the ambition from this particular deal. I represent Kongsberg Digital as a company which primarily focus on building technological solutions towards energy and maritime sector. So, what we're trying to do through our technology, we're trying to build a smarter, safer and greener world.
India could be a silver lining in the future with an economy that, as you heard, set to grow at 8% with a reasonable economic output. Well, the future in the next 15 years, we'd see what kind of investments come in, particularly in the sectors of pharma and machinery. For now, this is Jessica Taneja for DD India, New Delhi.
And Mahindra Group Chairman Anand Mahindra addressed the 4th Atal Bihari Vajpayee Memorial Lecture in New Delhi on Sunday evening. Delivering the lecture, Anand Mahindra talked about the goal of earning international respect, and business and commerce can play an important role in achieving this aspiration of India. He also spoke of obtaining a seat in the global high table, which is a priority of the government, thereby indicating India's goal of a permanent seat in UN Security Council.
The goal of achieving international respect also resonates today, because obtaining a seat at the global high table for India is a major priority for the Prime Minister and the Ministry of External Affairs as well. And if that is correct, then I think that gives me a very powerful cue to embark on the theme of my address this evening, which is that business and commerce can make a vital contribution towards our aspiration of earning international respect.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Union Minister Anurag Singh Thakur participated in the biggest medical camp of Himachal Pradesh till date in Dehra on completion of 10 lakh beneficiaries of MP Mobile Health Service, in which 5,312 people availed free health services. The historic old fort in Delhi was filled with artistic energy as it hosted the Viksit Bharat Ambassadors Artist Workshop. The theme of the day-long workshop was Viksit Bharat by 2047. Over 15,000 artists participated from across the country. The artists showcased their creative visualizations of a developed India. The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, administered the oath of office of Chairperson Lokpal to the former Supreme Court Judge Ajay Manikrao Khanvilkar at a ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Sunday. Justice retired Khanvilkar was appointed as the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Ombudsman Lokpal last month. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky outrightly shuns Pope Francis' call for talks with Russia as virtual mediation from a distance. The holy month of Ramadan, marking a period of spiritual reflection and self-discipline for Muslims, begins with sighting of the crescent moon in Saudi Arabia. And India, Satwik Sairaj and Chirag Shetty clinched their second French Open badminton men's doubles title.
bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Moving on, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that at least 13,000 terrorists were among Palestinians that were killed during Israel-Hamas conflict in the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu also vowed to press ahead with an offensive in the south of the conclave, a move U.S. President Joe Biden has described as his red line. And efforts to get aid into Gaza by sea is moving ahead. A U.S. Army vessel is en route to the coast of Gaza laden with materials for the construction of a temporary pier, according to the U.S. military. DD India correspondent Jagruti Dave explains it's part of the Biden administration's plan to use the sea routes to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza.
The Biden administration is facing a huge amount of pressure to help facilitate the delivery of aid to Gaza. The United Nations is warning that the people there are facing a famine. And so they've come up with a plan to construct a temporary pier on the coast of Gaza in order to help the transportation of aid to the enclave via sea routes. On Sunday, US Central Command posted a series of pictures of the ship carrying equipment to Gaza. Central Command posted on the social media site X. It said that the ship called the General Frank S. Besson had departed for the Eastern Mediterranean from the US state of Virginia on Saturday. It said that Besson is a logistics support vessel and is carrying the first equipment to establish a temporary pier to deliver vital humanitarian supplies. The Pentagon said 1,000 US personnel would be involved in building the pier, which would take weeks to complete. But aid groups have warned that have criticised this project, warning that the people of Gaza can't wait that long. Jagruti Dave in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Meanwhile, the United States and Jordan carried out airdrops of humanitarian aid to Gaza on Sunday, parachuting in more than 11,500 meals. The U.S. military Central Command said that the latest airdrop took place over northern Gaza and included rice, flour, pasta and canned food. Well, as Ramadan begins in Middle East, Israel said it will allow same numbers into Al-Aqsa Mosque at start of Ramadan as previous years.
This Ramadan, let the reasonable public prevail. Don't lend a hand to extremists. So today we reiterate that this year and every year, Israel will strongly safeguard the freedom of religion for all faiths at all sites in Israel, especially the Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa. To those that say no worshippers are being allowed access to Al-Aqsa for prayers, they are wrong. The entrance of worshippers to the Temple Mount will be permitted in similar numbers to previous years.
Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has swiftly dismissed Pope Francis' call for talks with Russia as virtual mediation from a distance. Zelensky, in his nightly video address, did not refer directly to Pope Francis or his remarks, but said the Pope's ideas had nothing to do with efforts by religious figures in Ukraine to help the country.
I thank every Ukrainian chaplain who is with the army, in the defense forces, on the front line, defending life and humanity. They support us with prayer, with talk and with deeds. This is what the church with people is, not 2,500 kilometers away, somewhere to mediate virtually between someone who wants to live and someone who wants to destroy you.
And moving on, the U.S. military said on Sunday it has carried out an operation in Haiti to airlift non-essential embassy personnel from the country and added U.S. forces to bolster embassy security as the Caribbean nation reels under a state of emergency. The operation was the latest sign of Haiti's troubles as gang violence threatens to bring down the government and has led thousands to flee their homes. In a statement, U.S. military's Southern Command said the airlift of personnel into and out of the embassy is consistent with U.S. standard practice for embassy security augmentation worldwide, and no Haitians were on board the military aircraft. The European Union's delegation in Haiti has temporarily closed its offices and reduced the presence in the country to the minimum, citing security concerns. Haiti entered a state of emergency last Sunday after fighting escalated while Prime Minister Ariel Henry was in Nairobi seeking a deal for the long-delayed UN-backed mission. And a spring storm brought rain and heavy winds to the eastern coast of the United States this weekend. Strong winds and falling trees left thousands without power in southeastern U.S. Charleston on Sunday. Heavy rain in the region dumped 3.63 inches of water, setting a new one-day rainfall record. The storm headed north along the eastern coast and combined with a different weather disturbance over the Great Lakes, increasing the risk of flooding and damage. And heavy rain in Bolivia's capital, La Paz, prompted authorities to declare a state of emergency after overflowing rivers destroyed many houses over the weekend. Nearly 50 people have died in deluges across the country since the rainy season began in January. Bolivian President Luis Arce pledged to send heavy machinery and 3,000 troops to prevent further damage. The government's main priorities are re-establishing potable water, electricity services, and to stop water from overflowing in the area. The crescent moon signaling the start of the Ramadan was sighted in Saudi Arabia on Sunday, prompting a Monday start to the holy month for much of the Middle East. Qatar and UAE have also confirmed that they will begin observing Ramadan from March 11th as one of Islam's holiest months. Ramadan is a time for Muslims to practice fasting, prayer, and charity. It is a period of spiritual reflection and self-discipline. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Members of the Sudanese armed forces walked past destroyed residential buildings to rescue Omdurman residents. The UN says because of the conflict, nearly 25 million people, half Sudan's population, need aid. Some 8 million have fled their homes and hunger is rising. Officials say they are working hard to make things back to normal, but the scale of destruction is huge. The four-member SpaceX Crew 7 said their goodbyes to the International Space Station on Sunday in a change of command ceremony, capping their nearly 6-month mission aboard the orbiting outpost. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is scheduled to undock from the space station on Monday from Florida. Argentine fans of widely popular films Japanese anime Dragon Ball gathered at Buenos Aires' iconic obelisk to remember Akira Toriyama, the creator of the manga comic. Fans sang the show's theme song and came together to do a Genkidama, a classic combat technique done by the characters in the anime. And in sports update, in badminton, Indian men's doubles duos Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty clinched their second French Open men's double badminton title on Sunday. The Indian top seed registered a straight games victory over Chinese Taipei's Li Jie-Hui and Yang Po-Seun in 21-11, 21-17, the final. This is in form Satvik Chirag's 7th BWF World Tour title, and they won it without dropping a single game at Paris Olympic Test match. Well, Test cricket is in need of a revival, and inspiration can be found in the UEFA Champions League. A home and away format like in football promises to inject excitement and competitiveness into the traditional format. It's time to reimagine Test cricket for a new era of fans and players alike. An exclusive report by DD India's Narayan Singh.
Test cricket, the epitome of sports' longest format, has been grappling with predictability for quite some time now. The mantra seems simple: play at home and victory is almost assured. This trend has raised concern about the competitiveness and appeal of the Test cricket, prompting calls for innovation to breathe new life into the game. While the inception of the World Test Championship was a commendable effort to infuse excitement into the traditional format, but many argue that it falls short of addressing the core issues. However, drawing inspiration from football, particularly the UEFA Champions League, Test cricket can embark on a transformative journey towards greater competitiveness and relevance. Imagine a scenario where Test cricket adopts a dynamic home and away format similar to Europe's premier football tournament, Champions League. Picture a 5-match series between cricketing giants like India and England being contested in both the countries, with 3 Test matches taking place in one nation and 2 in other, with a pattern reversed in the subsequent series. This format promises to inject meaning and intensity into every encounter. At present, the home advantage in Test cricket often proves decisive, rendering the 5th Test mere a formality, a dead rubber devoid of significance. By adopting a home and away structure, series would remain fiercely competitive for longer durations. Additionally, this format would elevate the value of away victories, which are currently overshadowed by the dominance of home teams. However, implementing such a radical change requires meticulous planning and coordination among cricket's governing bodies. Concern about player workload, scheduling conflict, and logistical challenges must be addressed to ensure the seamless execution of this vision. Test cricket stands at a crossroads, poised for transformation. By embracing innovation inspired by the world football, the traditional format can reclaim its status as a pinnacle of the sport. A home-away format promises to inject excitement, competitiveness and relevance into the Test cricket, captivating the audience and ensuring its longevity in the ever-evolving landscape of modern sports. It's time for cricket to take a bold step forward, embracing change while honouring its rich heritage, a journey that begins with reimagining the very essence of Test cricket. Narayan Singh's report for DD India.
Well, a night of celebration of the best films of 2023 has begun in Los Angeles, the 96th Academy Awards. Robert Downey Jr. bagged the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Oppenheimer. The film also took the Oscar for Best Editing and Best Cinematography. Actress Darwin Joy-Randolph won Best Supporting Actress for drama The Holdovers. Historical drama The Zone of Interest won Best International Feature Film. Emma Stone's star Poor Things won 3 honours of the night so far, taking home the award for the Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hair Styling. And Best Production Design anime film The Boy and the Heron won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film, earning creator Hayao Miyazaki his 2nd Oscar. French drama Anatomy of a Fall won Best Original Screenplay, while American Fiction won Best Adapted Screenplay. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.